Hey everybody, today I'm packing for our warm weather canoe and kayak trip. I'm going to be sharing with you our packing list and some of the tips that we've learned the hard way through our years of paddling with our kids. So let's get started with the packing list. The first thing is our dry bags. We've had every combination of dry bag that you can imagine, but we've basically settled on these two dry bags. We have a 40-liter dry bag through EarthPack, which we love because it has these backpack straps on the back. So we use this for more than just paddling trips. If we're going hiking someplace and we know there's water around, we'll just use this as our dry bag for the day so all of our gear can stay nice and dry. So this bag we use on our river trips as well. The other dry bag that we have is actually insulated, and this dry bag is basically just like our cooler. So we'll get into what we pack into each of these two different dry bags. First off, for our gear dry bag, we like to pack quick dry towels. These are definitely multi-use. Obviously, we use them as towels, but if the kids need to take a break or get out of the sun, we use them as sunshades as well. We love quick dry towels compared to a cotton towel because these dry quicker, hence the name, and they don't take up as much room as the cotton towels. So we have our quick dry towels. We have small sections of rope that we use to tie our gear to the thwarts or the handles of the canoes or kayaks. We have a trash bag for our own trash as well as any other trash we find on the river. We have our bug spray and sunscreen that go in a plastic baggie, a first aid kit, and then I like to pack an extra layer for every member of the family. And it seems like a little bit overkill, especially if you're paddling in the summer. So you can decide on the weather, but we like to have an extra layer because it's happened before where it seems like it's a great day, but the sun goes under the clouds or the wind picks up or the water is cold and you get chilled. And it's nice to have an extra layer, an extra dry layer to put on and warm up a little bit. So we like to bring an extra layer for every member of the family. Along that same line is our rain gear. If it's just raining a little bit, we don't mind paddling in the rain. Obviously, if there's severe weather, lightning, anything like that, we avoid paddling. But if it's just a little bit of rain, your rain gear, raincoat, and rain pants will help to keep you dry and enjoy the paddle a little bit more. Now, I'm a nerd, so I like to bring a laminated map. This is actually from the Paddling Iowa book by Nate Hogeven, which I highly recommend. This is the laminated map of the section that we went on last, and I like to have this with me. Now, a lot of people say, well, you can just pull up your phone and see where you're at, and that's true as long as you have cell service. But there's a lot of places that we paddle where we're down deep in the canyon or gullies area, and there isn't cell service. So I like to have the laminated map, and it's great for our kids to be able to start reading maps and telling where they are on the river. So I recommend bringing a laminated map for you with your river route. The last thing that we pack in our uninsulated dry bag is a dry box. Seems a little counterintuitive. It's a box in a bag, but we like to have a few things that have an extra layer of protection. And it's nice to have them so they're not just in the bottom of the bag. They're a little easier to find if they're in this box. So in this box is where we put any keys while we're paddling for the trip, any medications or an inhaler. We have chapstick, which we often need, especially have SPF 15 or higher chapstick. A little roll of duct tape, that's helpful. And then two things that I pack in this box just so they don't get lost. When I'm actually paddling, I have them on me, and that's a pocket knife and a whistle. So I like to have them in this box so I don't lose them. But when I'm actually on the water, I like to have them close by so I can grab them and use them if I need. Pocket knife, you never know when you might need to cut something free. And a whistle is super handy, especially if you're paddling with a group of people and you need to, something happens toward the back and you need to let the group ahead of you know to stop so they can pull over before they get too far ahead. So a whistle and a pocket knife are handy to have on you as you're actually paddling. Next is water bottles. Now, I have two recommendations. I don't care the brand, But here are the things that you need to consider before bringing your water bottles on your canoe or kayak trip. The first is that there's a way that you can fasten it to the boat. And the second, whatever you're drinking from stays clean. Okay, so this water bottle here would not make the cut. The reason is there's no way to attach it to the boat, and the part that you're drinking from is fully exposed to everything in the boat, which is gross. This one checks one of the boxes, but not two. So we have a way to connect it, but the part that you're drinking from is fully exposed to all the grossness. Okay, so this is a water bottle that checks both of the boxes for me. This has a way that I can connect it to my boat, and the part that I'm drinking from is covered. So when I'm drinking, I can drink from this clean area. When I'm done, I can screw this top on, and the part that I'm drinking from is covered, so it's not getting in all the nasty river water, sand and mud, and all the stuff that's in the bottom of your boat. So this water bottle here checks both the boxes for us. I like to have carabiners on hand that I can just clip to the handle, so there's an easier way to hook it to my boat. And that's where those small sections of rope come in, so you can easily connect your water bottle to one of those, which is tied to one of the thwarts or the handles in the boats. The reason is you want to make sure everything is tied down so that when you're paddling, just in case you flip or something happens, your gear isn't floating down the river, it's connected back together. Next up is our insulated dry bag. So we treat this just like a cooler. So we will load our ice or ice packs in there along with whatever lunch stuff we have for the day, any extra snacks that we might have. If there's sports drink or something that you're going to have instead of just water the whole time, we pack that in there. And then a little tip that I've learned along the way is having a hard candy like Jolly Ranchers. That way, when your kids get tired, you can give them a little piece of candy that helps get their mind off of how tired they are, kind of distracts them a little bit, and you can normally get a little bit more distance out of them as you're paddling. So we recommend having and hiding the Jolly Ranchers. You don't want them to know that they're there right off the bat. They need to be a treat for later on when they get tired. So that's our insulated dry bags. What to wear. When we go canoeing and kayaking, we typically wear our swimsuits or quick dry clothes because we know that we're bound to get wet at some point while we're paddling. We also always wear our sunglasses and some type of brimmed hat, especially when you're on the water. There's a lot more sun than you might think, so be prepared for that. Water shoes. This is a big deal. Now, I'm not a stickler for the type of brand, but here are the two things that you need for your water shoes. You need a good sole of the shoe and a nice tight fit. The reason that you need a nice sole on your shoe is that rivers are normally collectors of all sorts of things that are cool and sometimes just trash, which includes fish hooks and broken glass. I've had a fish hook that was in the bottom of one of my Keen shoes before that we had to get out with a pair of pliers because it was stuck in there so bad. And I was thankful that it wasn't my foot. I also know other people who were wearing a thinner sole who stepped on a piece of broken glass and it cut through the shoe and into their foot. So a nice thick sole shoe is super important. The other thing is you want a shoe that's nice and snug to your foot. Good grip is important, but you want to make sure that you're not sliding around. Your foot isn't sliding around in the shoe. So you need a nice tight fit. And if you're floating or swimming in the water, you want it to be able to stay tight on your foot. So a good sole and a tight fit is super important for your water shoes. The other thing that I like to wear or bring with me is a waterproof phone case. Now, I don't jump into the water with this on, but when I'm kayaking or canoeing, I normally just wear it like a necklace, and that keeps my phone nice and handy, but it also has an extra layer of protection. And last, but certainly not least, is life jackets for your crew. I prefer to bring our own life jackets so I know that they fit us and our kids are comfortable in them instead of using the rental companies, which are sometimes some of those old style orange life jackets. I prefer to just bring our own so I know that they work and they fit our kids well. So that was all the stuff that we pack with us as we're going on the river. But here's a tip. It's important to have things in your vehicle for when you're done with your trip. And here's what we've learned. It's nice to have extra water and snacks in the vehicle for when you're done. Just keep in mind that it's likely that your vehicle is going to be getting pretty warm, especially if you're paddling on a summer day. So extra ice in your water and snacks that won't melt. The other thing, which is my favorite, to have in your vehicle when you're getting done is dry clothes and shoes. Dry shoes are like the thing I look forward to the most when I'm getting off the water. It's a nice dry pair of shoes to put on and a dry pair of clothes. All of that is tucked inside this plastic tote. So when we get done, I have everybody change out of all of their wet clothes and wet shoes, and they put them inside the plastic tote, and then they have their dry clothes and dry shoes to wear home. That keeps all of the wet and mess contained in the tote, and it doesn't spread it out all throughout your vehicle. That is a tip that I definitely learned the hard way. We hope this packing list and trip tips help your next adventure go a little bit more smooth on the water. We hope that this creates an outdoor adventure made easy.